Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Londonderry Town Council meeting for February 6, 2023. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. Tonight's moment of silence is for the first responders that worked on Friday night. We had a fire in town. There were a lot of people out working Friday night. It was, as you all know, it was a very cold night, and they all arrived home safely. So, moment of silence for them and their continued safety. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with public comment tonight. We're going to have some ground rules for public comment tonight. Public comment will be open until 8 p.m. The 3-minute limit will be in effect in order to allow all to speak. If you spoke at the last meeting on January 23rd, we have all your comments and your minutes here. So we would ask that you refrain from speaking and let those who would like to speak who were not here speak first. Public comment is limited to Londonderry residents first. If you're not a Londonderry resident, let all the Londonderry residents go first. If we can allow time for those that are not from Londonderry, we'll make time for them. We're going to start with a pickleball conversation tonight, and with Heather Carey. Hi, Heather.
Hello, thank you.
All these people are here for pickleball.
I figured, yeah. Heather Burr-Carey, 132 Pillsbury Road, Londonderry. Fastest growing sport in the nation, pickleball. Londonderry is a little bit behind. There are lots of communities and even school districts implementing it across the state, across the country. And last year, we had put a warrant article on the ballot of the election to start an engineering bid to install 8 brand-new pickleball courts off of West Road. The overall cost would have been approximately $250,000, so that was just the first step. And obviously, there's a lot of factors that come into that, so that wasn't a definite number. There's been a lot. It lost by 169 votes, minimal number. And I will take a lot of credit for that because I feel like we needed more information out there and everyone needed to understand more about the sport, about the people that want to play it, and the necessity for it in the town. I'm coming to you tonight because I've heard even more chatter about pickleball, so I wanted to share a little bit. I know the Senior Resource Committee has talked about it, the Rec Commission, and I have been in conversations with everyone, so this isn't a one-man show. Although if anybody does have interest, if they could reach out, that would be great. There are grants available. We talked to Senior Resource Committee last year about the AARP grant. There is a grant, which is kind of my main point of the discussion, from the New Hampshire Division of Parks and Recreation, that the town, we would possibly qualify for it. It's a process that kind of starts this year, which is why I'm bringing it up tonight rather than waiting. And overall, this grant, if we were approved, if the town paid the cost, and let's say for 8 pickleball courts, it was $250,000, they would reimburse the town $125,000 of that. Obviously, if all the T's are crossed and I's dotted. So, but that process would have to start now. So I am coming to you to ask advice, opinions, what you feel would be the best route to bring this to Londonderry. I will note that I know some of the seniors and even people had mentioned possibly painting the tennis courts in town. Briefly, that would probably be about $6,000 to paint 2 of our 4 tennis courts. That would give us 8 pickleball courts. And what that would do is enable people to play tennis or pickleball. But we're hesitant to do that because if we do it, that takes away from building 8 full courts. And it limits the tennis players. And we don't want to take away from one sport to bring in another sport. But it is exciting. It's coming to Londonderry. Hopefully, it's coming to other towns. And so would love anybody's input if there's a few minutes. I know it's a busy night, but if we should entertain the idea of getting this grant started, applying, or what you feel is the best route to bring this to the town.
So let the record reflect, I'm lifting the 3 minutes for this particular discussion. I will add that on to the back end. Mr. Town Manager, I would ask with the consensus of the council that we put this on a future agenda item. We dive deep into it, find out what's involved, how do we support this, and how do we do more due diligence around this if the council concurs.
To add on to that, it would be good if we had the Seniors Affair Director and Arts Leaders here to talk and put their input in for it and their details. I think that would be good. If you're gonna go dive deep into it, those two committees that would be involved in it should be there.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm the liaison to both committees, so I've been very involved with this, and I would appreciate the rest of the council listening to the folks that want this to happen.
So if the council concurs, we'd like to have that put on the next meeting on the agenda in the first item, and let's dive into it.
As well as invite Heather back.
Of course, Heather, I would expect that you would come back.
Thank you. And if I can just add, not to take up more time, but if people are interested, we do have a Facebook page, Londonderry Pickleball, or they could reach out to, let's say, Joe or anyone on the town council, and they can direct you to me if I can keep people gathered and entertained. But if anyone's interested, please let me know.
Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Is there any, so I'm assuming a lot of people are here for the first agenda item, which is the proposed reorganization plan. If you were here for another reason, I'd like to give you the courtesy of being able to address the council before I open public comment up for any other reason. If you're not here for the proposed reorganization plan and you'd like to address the council, now would be the time.
Sure,
Yes.
stand up.
Yes? Sure, come on up. I just need your name and your full address.
Yeah, Tanya Christian, 103 West Road, Londonderry.
Yes, are you here, this is a separate subject?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there's a
Yes.
separate item on the agenda under new business for this item.
Gotcha, okay,
May I sit?
absolutely. So you have 3 minutes. Of course, if you're going too long and we're just trying to stay on time tonight. But I'm going, if I need to lift the 3 minutes, I will lift the 3 minutes.
Okay.
So please proceed.
I'm here hoping to do a quick claim deed with the town of Londonderry for a piece of property that I thought I bought, but it is not actually part of the property. And I've had my attorney research things and was hoping maybe to get the quick claim deed so I could combine that property with my existing property and file a petition for a quiet title and group all the acres together to make it just one lot so it can't be divisible again.
So, Mike, are we addressing this under agenda item 3?
Correct, Mr. Chairman.
So you've met with Tanya?
Yes, corresponded with her attorney as well.
So you're up to speed on this?
Yes.
Okay, looks like we're going to address it tonight.
I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, if you were here to address item number 1, please feel free. Londonderry residents only.
Mr. Chairman, I realize that I'm not a Londonderry resident, but I am an employee of the town. That is the subject of why all these folks are here. So I'm requesting permission if I could just speak first.
I'm sorry. We've already spoken at the last meeting. I'm going to let the Londonderry residents speak first.
Ray President, 3 Gary Drive. I just would like to ask, maybe I'm not expecting you to answer tonight, but we have a lot of infrastructure potential that is coming to Londonderry. Primary is water, okay? We got a 30-inch water line that is supposed to be connected into 2 water tanks, one 2 million, one 3 million gallons, up by Vista Ridge. And that hasn't happened yet. In the meanwhile, we have a problem with the supply of water to the town of Londonderry, which includes fire protection. And personally, I would like to know what the town's plan is, and are we moving forward with this or not? I mean, if we want to talk about priorities, this should be the top priority. Apparently, others have other ideas of what the priorities are. The health and welfare of the citizens are the top priority. That is the purpose of government, and I'm not sure where we're at here in the town of Londonderry. But I would certainly like to know. And I guarantee you, there's some other people in town would like to know also. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council?
Good evening.
Name and address, please.
Daniel Bouchard, O'Connell Drive, Londonderry. I'm here to speak concerning this whole incident that's going on with our associate planner. Really, really disappointed in the board, okay? And I'll tell you why, all right? Our employees are very valuable employees. I hear it all the time. It's so hard to find people to work. People don't want to work. Councilor Green, I'd appreciate if you'd be listening and not doing your paperwork.
I'm not doing my
Sir,
paperwork. Go ahead.
sir, you address me.
Okay,
Always address the chair.
all right, I'll address you. But I
And
would
you-
appreciate that,
And,
you know.
and if you have something to say, address me and I will address the councilor.
Okay, I'd appreciate for people to be listening here
I
tonight.
can listen to you and Brett
Okay.
at the same time.
Joe.
So we have valuable employees. You're always saying it's hard to find employees. I understand you want to reorganize and try to save money. But if you have a valuable employee with a lot of talent and you reorganize, then wouldn't you try to find a place for that employee? I look at the town website. You're advertising for a planner. Can't this associate planner be doing this job? Maybe the qualifications are different, but I've seen it work in this town where they change the qualifications, to accommodate working and keeping people that are valuable. I mean, you just don't lose a person with that kind of talent, all right? And I look at this whole incident, and this is more than a reorganization, all right? And I know it because I've worked in this town, all right, for many years. I've been in her shoes when you've been in a room where you're told you cannot have a union employee, union steward represent you. You can't have anybody. And I would love tonight to see all our town employees show up to support her. All right? There is no reason why anybody should be treated like that in this town. What is that telling people when you're trying to hire them to say, come work to Londonderry? But you know what? We'll pull you in a room and we're going to treat you like garbage. I mean, if a person was, did something wrong, you should have a union rep there. You should have somebody else there with them.
30
All right.
seconds.
Well, you took some of my time up before anyway. So what I'm saying is, I would hope that as the council, you hire the town manager. All right? The town manager, you hired him. I don't think he had a lot of managerial experience. Maybe you need to send him to, managerial school to learn how to manage people. All right? But it falls on you guys. All right? And don't hide behind the charter and say, it's not ours. It's up to the town manager. All right? You hire the town manager. It falls on you guys. All right? And I'm asking you guys to do the right thing by the town employees in this town. They work their butts off for you. You know that from the fire, all right, where the firemen were there. All right? Thank you.
Hi, name and address, please.
Certainly. Good evening, Ellen Brito, 19 Severance Drive. Good evening, council and members of the public that are here. I'll be brief. I just also am here this evening to just make a couple comments about the restructuring. And I've been a Massillon municipal employee for decades now. And I was really dismayed to learn about how this restructure was handled, and how my hometown is conducting itself. I really find it very hard to comprehend why a valued employee would be laid off mid-fiscal year in a town that is, so is the town projecting a shortfall? Because I haven't seen anything on that. Are there other mechanisms put in place to take care of that if there is going to be a shortfall? So typically mid-year, if the budget was already in jeopardy and we were going to not have enough funds to close out the year, we would be doing something different than taking one department and restructuring it mid-year. I would like to have seen more dialogue on that. Typically, a restructure, it happens. I've been through them. They happen at the close of a fiscal year. People have warning. They know it's going to be coming. Especially the other thing that was, again, I think the other gentleman mentioned, this department's already short-staffed. So you've got work to do up there. Planning department is critical to new growth and to smart development in our community, and we look for those and we want that to happen. So I just, as many of you or some of you might know, my late husband worked for this town for over 20 years. He also served as your assessor, but he served on the planning board. So he worked closely with Laura Gandia. I considered Rick to be a very good judge of character, and her character was always held to a high pedestal. So I think her expertise was needed, and I just find her dismissal seems, from the outsider looking in, a little short-sighted and a little bit underhanded. So I think both the town employees and our residents deserve better, and I hope you take that into consideration. So thank you for your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to keep applauding, that's going to cut into the public comment time. So please hold your applause. Let us keep moving along.
Christine Perez, 5 Wesley Drive. As long as we're on happy notes, we have 2 rooms. We have rooms in the police department and as well as the town hall that we're told now that cannot be used by any group. The one in the police department is named the community room, and it has access that doesn't interfere with the working of the police department. Back in the fall, Mr. Malaguti, when asked, was told a group that we could use the community room at the PD if available. Arrangements were made with Chief Bernard. The room was utilized without issue in November. Then in December, a false report was made to the police department that there would be trouble at the meeting in December. The group was told they could not meet. A sign was put on the door that said, "No meeting here." The meeting took place without incident at the library. First, that was a false report. And was that false report investigated? And if not, I request that it is. Second, it appeared that other groups in town had access to utilize rooms here in the town hall on a first-come, first-served basis. Other towns, including Litchfield, uses their community room in their fire department for groups. These are town buildings paid for and maintained by the taxpayers of Londonderry. Other towns allow it. We should all not suffer because of a false report being made to the police department. You may have the right to say, no, we can't use it, but it is just not right.